Welcome to the Abundant Mind Show. I am your host, Dr. Jake Hansen, and you are in for a treat today. But before we introduce our incredible guest, I want you to imagine this with me. I want you to imagine the life of your dreams. I want you to imagine having everything that you've ever wanted, being able to have the options to do everything you wanted, all while taking your kids to school in the morning and being able to create multiple streams of revenue effectively and efficiently and create the lifestyle of your dreams. Dr. Glenn Vo is an industry influencer, not only in dentistry, but he is a best-selling author of Industry Influencer, where he teaches healthcare professionals, he teaches all sorts of professionals on how to be the best person and an industry influencer in their profession. Dr. Glenn Vo, welcome to the show.
Jake, thank you so much for having me on. Super excited to be on. So excited to see all the great things you're doing in chiropractic, but also in entrepreneur industry as well. So again, I'm just excited to be here.
Thank you so much. So Dr. Glenn, so you are a full-time practicing dentist, and you have created multiple side gigs that have created multiple streams of revenue. And I would love to be able to kind of talk and frame how that was possible. So what is one of the number one things that you found for yourself? When did you realize, so you were a dentist, but when did you realize that you either had the bug or you had the desire to be able to create other side gigs?
Well, first of all, let me start off with the fact that I'm in my practice right now. So you guys probably saw the buzz behind me. So I am a practicing dentist. I'm actually down to 1 day a week, so not exactly full time, but I am a full-time owner in this practice. Just because I'm not practicing clinically every day doesn't mean that I'm not responsible for my team, growing the practice, making sure everyone's taken care of. So yeah, I'm actually in the practice today. I just got back from vacation, and there was a number of patients that wanted to see me, so I had to come in today. So Jake, thank you so much for accommodating here and having me in my practice. But literally, I just wanted to show everyone that, yes, I do practice dentistry still, and I do have other income streams, right? Now, the main thing is that you asked me, well, how did I create this vision and whatnot? It really starts off with that vision. And I tell people you have to have that why, right? Why power over willpower, right? That's what I always say. So, sometimes people, they want to become better, entrepreneurs. Maybe they want to get up early. Maybe they want to be healthier. They want to work out. And so they use willpower, right? They use like their own willpower to do these things. Well, here's the thing. We're all humans here, right? And we all get tempted by things that are not good for us because we are human. We are flawed individuals, right? And so the thing is, when you rely on willpower, that's when it's really difficult to achieve the things that you want to lay out. Now, if you rely on why power meaning having a strong why. For me, it was I wanted to create a life where I spent time with the people I loved without restriction. That was my goal. Right? So get that freedom so that I could take my kids to their activities. So I could take my kids to school and pick them up from school. And so that was my goal. That was my why. And from there, since I had that strong why, I just started creating the life, that got me there. So again, getting different income streams, being able to get myself out of the practice, get people in the practice that can take care of the patients, making sure that I set up systems so that I can do that, so I can still have a successful practice. It goes back to the why. So if anyone's listening or watching right now, you got to get that why so you can get that why power.
A lot of people, what I have found, especially, we get professionals or entrepreneurs, they start producing content for an idea they have before they build their personal brand, before they've built systems, and definitely before they have built a team. What is it that you would say first to a professional who is wanting to write a book like you have, who is wanting to create something? And just for our listeners, so Dr. Glenn Vo is the creator of Nifty Thrifty Dentists. Everyone in dentistry, in my town here in Colorado, when I mention Nifty Thrifty Dentists, everyone knows who this guy is. Everyone knows, because this is worldwide. Everyone knows who Dr. Glenn Vo is. It is ultra successful. And you built that while still building a successful practice.
Exactly, yeah.
So what is it that the entrepreneurs, that professionals need to do first? You talked about that why power. So having a crystal clear vision of what you want. Exactly. What are the next logical steps that it takes to really actually start doing that? And I mean, and you did it for me. You helped me create side gigs, but I would like to hear it from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it goes back to that why power. So if you are a chiropractor, a dentist, a physician, an optometrist, an accountant, an attorney, if you have your own small business, that is the engine that drives everything, right? And so you need to have a why there. Like, why are you doing the things that you're doing? Then you also have to have a why as far as like your own personal life. Now, I said that I wanted to be able to spend time with my loved ones without restriction. Now, other people, maybe they want to grow businesses, and maybe the business aspect is more important than relationships. That's okay, right? The thing is, you got to understand what your why is. Now, when you're thinking about becoming an industry influencer, you need to figure out what your niche is going to be. For me, it was connecting people with the right people to create win-win relationships, right? I was really resourceful. I knew how to find different deals and discounts. I knew how to connect with different people. And so that was my superpower. So Nifty Thrifty Dentists started as a place where people found out like, okay, here's the latest deals for this dental equipment, or here's the best prices here. But then it became a community where we just brought our minds together and became very resourceful, right? So, starting a dental practice, growing a dental practice, there's a lot of tips and tricks and a lot of like information that you need to have, right? And so we brought all the best minds together so we can help people grow. So just figure out what your niche is. Maybe you're very passionate about marketing. Maybe you're very passionate about leadership. Maybe you're very passionate on the clinical side of things. Whatever it is, own that niche and start creating content to help others. Now, being an industry influencer is not about just yourself, not about just getting all the praise for yourself. It's about figuring out a way to be able to serve your community, serve your industry better. If you start with that servant mentality, then everything else is going to come in. If you're all about yourself, then it's going to be hard. People are going to see right there. It's going to be hard to get that traction. So if you're out to helping other people, then people will naturally gravitate towards you.
That is one of the keys that I've seen about you without fail, is I see that you put your family first. I see that you put your team first. I see that you create value. When you're able to create value for other people, when you're able to solve their problems, everything else comes. When you have the buck first, when you have you first, then you don't gain traction. And that is one of the biggest things that we see that causes most businesses to fail. One of the things that the 3,287 thing I love about Glenn Vo is that, man, you are very crystal clear on your vision. I love that you've said, hey, a non-negotiable for me is I want to take my kids to school. I want to pick up my kids. And a lot of us, we say the horrible words, I can't, or I will when, or if.
Yeah.
How did you actually create that? How were you able to take a step? And when you decided, because you haven't been picking up your kids every single day of your career, correct? When did you decide to make this happen? And actually, what happened? Did everything fall crumbling down? Like what happened when you made your vision happen?
I think it's I'm glad you asked that. I think it's ironic that you're asking that right now because there's another entrepreneur. His name is Dr. Scott Luna. He's the founder of Breakaway Seminars. It's a dental seminar company that teaches you how to start a practice and then how to scale up the practice. And so I've had him on my dental podcast many times. And I remember about 3 years ago, he invited me to come to his office in San Antonio. He said, "Hey, Glenn, why don't you come down? Let's talk business. I'd love to hear what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera." He cleared out, this is a busy man, by the way. He cleared out his whole schedule, and all he did was hung out with me and a friend of mine. We both came down there, spent the whole day talking. And he shared a lot of mindset things. He shared a lot of systems. He shared a lot of his story about growing his business and opening multiple dental practices. But the one thing that stood out was the fact that he tailored his schedule so that he can drop off his kids and so that he can pick them up every day. So he actually told us, like, guys, I have a hard stop today at 3:00. We're going to grab some lunch. And then after that, I'm just going to drop you guys off and I'm going to go pick up my kids. And I thought to myself, wait. Here's a guy that is super busy. And he basically created a schedule around his family. And he told me, he was like, I don't create my schedule around my business. I create my schedule around my family. And that
Mm.
was the one takeaway. And I remember driving back from San Antonio to Dallas, and that's about a 4 hour drive. And I thought to myself, that's what I want to do. I want to create a schedule where I schedule things around my family. So, and that's what I did. Now, was it easy? No. Did it take a lot of planning? Yes. And so the thing is like, yeah, you have to have the desire, but you have to understand that you have to start somewhere and you have to work towards it. I had to work towards getting myself out of my practice. I had to work towards being able to condense my schedule into a shorter schedule so that I could do all these other things. I had to plan, I had to work towards that. And so again, I'm happy to say that actually I made a joke with Dr. Luna recently. I told him, I think I work less than you, man, in my business. I told him that. But the thing is that, at this age with my kids, I have a 9-year-old and I have a 12-year-old. And at this age, they really need you in their lives. Think about all your memories from childhood. Most of your memories are, well, you remember everything when you're in elementary school. You remember everything in your middle school. High school is kind of a blur. There's a bunch of things going on, right? But those crucial years, that's when kids remember. And I wanted to be present there. So again, my advice to anyone who wants to create this dream schedule, you actually have to work towards it. You actually have to put the effort in. You went through all these years to become a chiropractor, a dentist, accountant, an entrepreneur. You put the steps into place to do that. You got to do the same thing with your schedule. You just can't wing it, and you just can't say, well, one day I'm going to do it, because you're going to look up 5 years past and you've been working on your business and not with your family.
That is so inspirational because you achieved what you want to achieve. With Dr. Luna, it sounds like it was something that was already within you, but it resonated. You're like, man, that hits me.
Yeah.
We would all like to do that, but actually seeing someone do that, because as a healthcare professional, as an entrepreneur, no, you're supposed to work 9 to 5. You're supposed to work 6 to 7, 6 to 8. You're supposed to work 100-hour weeks. But you are able to achieve everything you want to achieve when you have the proper systems in place. And that brings us to one of the other things I love about you is with your team. When you and I first met, you said, how on earth is it? So we see a lot of entrepreneurs, we see a lot of business owners who, they have their drive, they're willing to put in 100 hours a week. Man, why can't I find a team member who does that?
Yeah.
And you said something that really struck me. You said, why on earth would I ever expect my team to share my vision and to have my level of vision when I don't even know theirs?
Yeah.
If I don't even know their vision, how could I expect them to help me grow mine and to create engagement and loyalty? What are some of the key strategies you have implemented? So number one, to grow your cash, your initial primary sense of cash flow, which was your dentist practice, dental practice. How did you create a team that has such loyalty and that lives by core values? How did you do that?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everyone who's watching and listening right now some actionable steps. Okay. I'm not just going to give you like some kind of philosophy. I'm going to give you something that you can do right now. Okay. So if you have a team right now and you don't know anything about them, you can create a questionnaire. If you go to drglenvo.com, I actually have like this questionnaire that you can on my downloadable items. But even if you want to do that, just create a questionnaire, okay, of their favorite things. What's your favorite drink? What's your favorite gift? What's your favorite cake? What's your favorite cookie? When's your birthday? When's your kid's birthday? And then also, how do you like people to show you appreciation? Do you like words of affirmation? Do you like gifts? Do you like acts of service? Someone doing something for you? Get all that stuff from your team members. Okay. So then, if they ever do anything good, go down that list and get them something that they like. Boom. And show your appreciation the way they want. So again, I'm a big fan of the 5 love languages. So again, figure out what their love language is, right? Figure out if it's like gifts, if it's like words of affirmation, if it's acts of service, right? Think of like how they like to be shown appreciation. So that's number one. Do that right away. Okay. Number two, you got to do something called a vision board. Okay. It's very easy. You can look it up online. Okay. A vision board is basically a visual representation of their hopes and dreams. Okay. Visual as representation, they got to cut out pictures and whatnot. So, what's on the vision board? Their financial goals, their family goals, their personal goals, their fitness goals, all these hopes and dreams that your team members have. Ask them, create a vision board. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have them talk about the vision board to you. So let's say you have a virtual team. Let's say you have a virtual team. Like I have a local team and I have a virtual team as well for my businesses. Okay. With your virtual team, tell them to create a vision board on a PowerPoint and then come on, get on Zoom and explain it. Right. And then get you a copy. Now, what does that do? That lets you know their hopes and dreams. So again, how can someone care about your hopes and dreams unless you care about theirs? So what you do is you find out a way to help them get their goals, achieve their goals by helping you achieve yours. So again, tie those together. That's what I do in my practice. I saw that my team wanted to travel. And I said, hey guys, if we hit certain numbers, we're going to go to Nashville for an event. Hey, I have someone who wants to get into speaking. I was like, okay, great. Hey, if we do this, I can take you to this event where I can introduce you to all the dental speakers. Figure out what they want, tie it in to your ability to get your goals. That way their goals and your goals are in alignment, and they'll always care about what your goals are because it's going to help them get what they want. 2 actionable items you can do right away.
You guys, that right there, again, looking at again, guys, just Google Dr. Glenn Vo. Look at who this guy is. He literally, these are one of the major strategies that he has implemented to create an empire of success. And literally, Glenn has to say no probably more often than yes to people who want him on board with what, hey, we're creating a new business. Do you want on board? If it doesn't align with his principles, because he knows what he wants, he can say yes or no. But he's able to create this through those actionable steps of having an incredible team. I love that. I mean, the most beautiful sound to anyone on earth is the sound of their own name. The second thing, people want to be seen and heard. People want to be understood. And when they understand that fact, case in point, I have an associate who I figured out what his love language is, and it's sports. And specifically, it's memorable like jerseys or autograph stuff from his heroes. And I didn't realize this right out of the gate, and I'd given him a really big bonus. And money is not a driver for him. It's needed. He's doing very well, but money's not a driver. And so I'd given him a bonus, and usually he would say, oh yeah, I got the bonus. Maybe this is great, fantastic. We worked so hard for this. He didn't say a word, and it was his biggest bonus to date. He hadn't said a word about it. And I was like, hey, did you get that? He looks in his phone. Oh yeah, I did get it. Yeah, cool, thanks, man. I thought, man, money's not his thing. So I did exactly what you said, found out what his hopes and dreams are. I got him an autographed jersey of a childhood hero goalie. And it was like $300, right? So not a big deal. And I'll tell you, that was the world to him.
Wow.
And that right there has been one of the biggest things that have solidified my understanding of who he is, and his connection to me and his loyalty, because we were able to take care of him the way he wants. And we've been able to do that with each of our team members. And man, what a palpable, measurable difference that makes, just implementing those 2 steps. So what is it that they love? What is it that their family, the people that they care about, what do they love?
Yeah. And
then creating a vision board and sharing that. Now, do you share that, Glenn? Is it just a personal thing, or do you allow that to happen in a team environment as well?
Yeah. So, and actually right outside, if you can, let me point. If you could see that right there where I'm pointing, those are some vision boards. That's actually on the hallway leading towards our break room right there. And so whenever we do that, we update it every year and we put it in our hallway so that each time I walk by, each time anyone walks by, we understand everyone's hopes and dreams. And so again, it's like right there, and then my board's on there too. So again, everyone knows what that is. We're all in alignment there. But again, people like to talk about themselves. People like to talk about their hopes and dreams. People want you to care, right? So again, if you want your team to care about what you're doing, you got to care about what they're doing. And again, we have to understand too that this is a team, right? They work with us, right? Just like family, they have their other things. Maybe their dream is to go on to a different place, right? This is something to keep in mind. Don't ever feel threatened by that. Don't ever feel bad about the fact that your team one day might want to do something else, right? We want to help them there. You want someone when they leave your practice or leave their business, you want them to say, I am so glad I work with Dr. Jake Hansen. I worked with Dr. Glenvo. I am so glad, right? And if they say that, you accomplish your mission. Your mission is to help people grow within your practice, right? Give them the skills so that they can level up. And if it's in your practice, that's great. If it's in your business, that's great. If they end up going somewhere, that's okay. Okay. Because that's your why. And if you come with that kind of mindset, the abundance mindset, right? Not a scarcity mindset. If you come with that, then you're going to feel so much better about your team. But if you're always worried about like, oh, if I train them up, I do all these things. What if I do all these nice things and they leave? If they leave, they leave. If they leave, they leave. They are a human being who has their own hopes and dreams. If they leave, they leave. Okay, that is not up to you. What's up to you is to control the four walls within your business and help level them up. That is your legacy. If you approach it that way, then and with an abundance mindset, you're always going to feel good about your team. So I just wanted to add that in too, because again, a lot of times people may think, oh, I did all these nice things. They just left. That's not the point. You doing the nice things is not meant to keep them there. Yes. You doing those nice things is you're meant to help level them up so they can help grow your business. It's not a bribe technique to keep them in your business forever.
That is genuine caring. That is genuine. That is not heard of in almost any industry. To see that enthusiasm, the joy that happens. I remember, you shared a story where a dental assistant, I think, had given you a vision like, hey, one day I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z, and here's my time frame. It worked with what you wanted, and she was able to create value. You were able to create value for her, and then she was able to accomplish that. Now, some people would say, oh no, unless you're going to be, why? Which brings to another question. Why is it as entrepreneurs, as business owners, why is it that we sometimes get stuck in that mentality of, no, I'm in this for life, so you should be too?
Yeah.
Why do we get stuck there, and why is that poisonous to think that way?
I mean, it's just a selfish mentality, and here's the thing, we're not perfect. Humans are not perfect, right? We have to, for no matter what religion you believe in, I think we all understand that humans are not perfect, and we do need some help to attain another level, right? And again, I don't want to get too religious here, but when you understand that people are flawed. I mean, we are flawed, So again, right. The selfish side is, we want someone to work for us forever. We don't ever want to change. We don't ever want to have any hardship. But what I would say is this, is that life is meant to be difficult. Life is meant to have obstacles. It doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world, you're always going to have a problem somewhere. And the great thing about life is it forces you to become better. I was listening to this morning when I was going for my run. And on the journey of life, you're always going to face pain. Okay. Now, you could either go through pain and get a reward, or go through pain and have a regret, right? You're going to get pain either way. And it resonated with me. It's so true. You're going to suffer pain. Okay. Now, do you want to suffer pain and get a reward afterwards? That means becoming a better person. Right? Someone leaves your business and you have to replace them. You have to figure out a way to replace them. You go through that pain of like the uncertainty but when you go through that pain, the reward is you become a better person. Or do you want to just, get upset and don't even try to change, and then you go through this and you go through it again? Then you suffered regret because you didn't put in the work, right? So again, in life, you're always going to face pain. Do you want a reward afterwards, or do you want to suffer regret? So again, that just ties into what you just asked me there. It's like, again, like take it as if someone leaves, you wanted to keep them there forever, right? Maybe it was an office manager, maybe it was a CEO. You wanted to keep them there forever. Look at that painful moment as a way to get better so that you don't ever go through that again. Because if you don't change, then what happens? You end up regretting it, going through it again.
Right.
So anyways, I just wanted to share that. I heard that. I like to listen to speeches while I exercise, and during there they're like, pain. You're always going to face pain, but do you want a reward afterwards, or do you want regret?
And the fact is that those are all lessons. Pain, it can be one of the the greatest lessons in multiple ways. we can either let it roll over us and get a victim mentality, or we can have a victor mentality. And as we go through that, it's a choice to choose. We have a choice. We can have absolutely everything. Life is not a zero-sum game. If I take a breath right now, I'm not stealing from you, Glenn, right? You creating a side gig that creates multiple lines of revenue. You're able to bless people's lives by giving them meaningful work of things that they love. That doesn't steal from me. It doesn't steal from anybody else. It's not a zero-sum game, but you've chosen to be able to put people first. You've chosen to dedicate time in figuring out what it is that you really want, which brings me to another question. You're a highly successful dentist. You've created Nifty Thrifty Dentists. You've created multiple side gigs. I mean, I watched you create a Facebook group, and through meaningful relationships and relational capital, I saw you go from 0 to like 8,500 overnight by using the principles that you're sharing right now, because you are laser focused on what you want. Now, there's a lot of people here who understand they have a vision, they have a message, they have a creativity they'd love to get out there in the form of writing a book.
Yeah.
When did you decide that this vision that you had to write your first book, because Glenn has written a couple books now, and this is one of them. I got the other one in our library upstairs right now. But when did you decide to do that? Question number one. And how did you pre-frame that with your team so they could allow you to achieve your vision?
Okay, so I want to tell you guys two ways to do this. There's the hard way, and there's the easy way. I hope you guys just take the easy way. The hard way is taking a little bit of time every day and just write everything by yourself and try to do it on your own. My first book, 2612 Cherry Hill Lane, was a fiction book. It was kind of my way of just sharing my faith and sharing like a lesson that I learned, a valuable lesson, and I wanted to share it with the world. And I've been working on that book I literally worked on that book for 12 years.
Wow.
And within a span of 1 year, I was able to get it edited, get it to a publisher, and ultimately get it published. And it was a USA Today bestseller. Okay. 1 year. But the previous 12 years was me trying to get the book together. Now, Industry Influencer was written within less than a year, published, Wall Street Journal bestseller, all those things. Now, what was the difference between the two methods? The hard way is doing it yourself and trying to research and figure out an industry that you know nothing about. I'm a practicing dentist who happens to like to write. I'm not a book publisher. I don't have those connections. I don't even know what to do. I tried to learn on my own, but when you try to learn a whole new industry that's not a part of your normal industry, you literally have to create another job and get into that. And it's literally impossible. What I did is I hired an editor who had all the connections. Now, he wasn't cheap. It was pretty expensive actually, but now that I look at it, worth every penny. Cleaned up my manuscript, connected me with the right people, gave me the strategy, coached me, and because he had the connections, ultimately connected me with Morgan James, which basically published my book, right? Now, because of that connection, they also wanted to publish my next book that wasn't even done. I wasn't done writing. I was in the process of writing Industry Influencer. And they wanted to publish that one as well. So the hard way is do it yourself. The easy way is to find someone who's in that industry, pay them, right? And have them make the connections for you and have them help organize that book and help you finish writing it. And then that gets you quicker. So that's the hard way. That's the easy way. So the easy way, find the professionals who are in there that do it all the time. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Find people who are in that industry and have them. And that goes with anything, not just writing a book. If you want to get into something else, find the experts there, pay them, and help them get you there.
Unless you have a utter interest in, hey, I'd like to become an editor, I'd like to become a publisher. Unless that is your end game result, Glenn just taught a principle that is crucial. You never ever interrupt cash flow. And time is valuable. Wealthy-minded people will spend a lot of money to save time. Yeah. Poor-minded people spend a ton of time to save a very, very little money. So find someone who's the unicorn in their industry, find someone who absolutely loves doing this and do that. And you will see that long term, that leverage will allow you to not interrupt cash flow, but allow you to make and create your vision significantly faster. Thank you for sharing those steps, Glenn. The second question then on top of that, so in order to do that, how did you let your family and your team know that that was one of your visions so they could understand and respect you and give you the appropriate time and space in order to do that? And how did you do it?
Yeah, so we talked about vision boards, and on my vision board there was the book, right? That was on there. They knew I was writing about it. And again, I included them in the celebration when I published my first book. I gave them all a copy and wrote like personalized messages for each one of them. And so for me, you know, where do you find the time? You know, when you're trying to figure out your schedule, your daily schedule, you know, if you say yes to something, you always say no to something else. So you got to be mindful of that. So you, again, going back to your why, right? What is the most important thing in your life? Okay, spending time with your family, doing all these things. Make sure that that's at the top of priority. Then maybe it's business things, right? You put that in there, but see where you can actually free up some time. Maybe there's things that you can delegate. Maybe there's someone that you can hire to take these things off your plate. And then find those times whenever you open it up to dedicate towards the business. Now, sometimes people are like, okay, I want to write a book. I'm going to dedicate every hour of my day to write this book. My goal is to get it done as quickly as possible. That's all we think as entrepreneurs. We think like we want to get things done as soon as possible. But I challenge you to change your mindset to this. Ask yourself, what can I comfortably without disrupting my family, without disrupting my business, without disrupting my relationships, what can I comfortably dedicate towards this project? An hour? 2 hours? If you look at it, if you look at your schedule, you probably realize that you actually have more time than you think. Maybe you don't have to spend as much time on the golf course. Maybe you don't have to spend as much time on TV. Maybe you don't have to spend as much time on social media. Maybe you don't have to spend as much time doing this. Can you take like little pockets here and there and give yourself an hour? Right? I would start with something really that's attainable. Sometimes people are like, okay, I want to dedicate 4 hours. That's not going to happen. Okay, you're going to do it for a little bit, and then you're going to stop, and then it's going to end. Give yourself 1 hour. Maybe it's at 7 o'clock in the morning every morning. And for that 1 hour, that's all you do is work on your book. It's all you do. And if you find that you can add more time, then do it. But I would start by just doing that and actually being intentional. Don't say, I have this great idea, I'm going to do it. No, if you're going to do something, schedule the time. Put it on your Google Calendar. This pings, you got to stop what you're doing. I'm sorry, you got to stop what you're doing. Just like if you have to pick up your kids from school, do you think like, oh, I'll just let my son just stay there for 30 minutes and so I can finish this one thing? No, you have a responsibility. You got to go pick up your kids at that certain hour. So same thing with this. You cannot stop. You have to drop what you're doing and focus on that. If you start with that, you're going to find that you'll be able to accomplish more. And that's not just writing a book. That's just starting something in general. Schedule it out. And it's a non-negotiable. Don't let anything go in during that time.
You know, and that principle that what we focus on, what we put our love, our intention, and our attention to, that is what grows. That's one of the things that, again, I can see you genuinely so happy. I love when I see you on vacation because I know that you are there. I know you are present. I know you are intentional in creating incredible memories with your family. I know there's been moments where you're like, hey, I've got a business trip in Florida. We're going to do business for a day or two. Then we're going to do Disney World. Yeah, I'm going to be intentional, and you weren't pulled. And I know for a fact, because of what you've just shared with your vision and knowing your why, I know that when you were at Disney World with your family, that you weren't thinking of industry influencers, you weren't thinking of Nifty Thrifty, because you have the teams, the systems, and you have your priorities scheduled right, and you are able to live this incredible life because you've created this. Yeah. You've created this around sound systems, around vision, being able to love others and being able to understand their why, their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, and their vision. Man, thank you so much for being on our show today. For those who would like to understand how to write a book, for those who say, you know, I am super successful. Again, most of you, all you listening right now are at a level of tremendous success. but there's been something else that you've been wanting to do, something else you've been wanting to create. It's becoming an influencer industry. It's writing that book. It's creating a side gig. It's opening up that side business that you've wanted to do. We'll have a couple links below for Glenn. We'll have a couple of links on our website as well where you guys can get connected with Glenn. But go there to understand how to create your why, how to find your vision. Glenn, any last words for our high-performing entrepreneurs along this abundance mindset of how to accomplish their dreams and aspirations?
Well, Jake, I just want to start by thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And I will say that I am so proud to see everything that you've accomplished and then continue to accomplish. And again, that's where you and I connect together, is the fact that we care about our families and want to not only help them achieve their potential, but be a good example for them too. So again, thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I would just tell everybody that if there's something that you want to accomplish, and I already mentioned this, is that you have to be very intentional. It's not just going to happen if you think about it. Everything that in this world that we live in, everything is based on hard work. You have to put the work in. It just doesn't happen. But yeah, once in a while you'll get lucky, and that's fine. Okay, but this life is meant for us to grow. That is the purpose of life. To grow, to go through difficult situations and become better. That is the purpose of life, okay? So if you understand that, if you accept that, then whatever you do, understand that you got to put the work in, but it's okay. You're going to enjoy that journey. You're going to become better for it. So again, those things that you want to accomplish, it cannot happen without putting the work in and being intentional.
That is how abundance flows to you. It is by intention, intentionally being on purpose, intentionally creating the traction and the systems and the habits that then allow you to start seeing success. Thank you, Glenn, so very much. Go to drglennvo.com to find out more about Dr. Glenn and his amazing journey, and how you can also be able to coach with Dr. Glenn Vo, learn from him, and be able to create massive levels of success and utter joy in your professional and personal life. Thank you, Dr. Vo.
Thank you.